Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara. Today, we are back with another Book Talk Made Us Read It episode. If you would like to see the video format of the podcast without commercials, you'll need to head on over to Patreon to sign up. There's tons of content there for you to watch, including after shows, reading vlogs, and more. If you are listening on the Spreaker app, you can sign up as a supporter, and by doing that, you'll have access to the after show and other exclusive content in audio-only format. If you prefer video, including the vlogs, you should check out Patreon instead. You can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Clubs app for even more bookish chats. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you want to reach out to me, you can find me everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is featured co-host Casey from Heart Full of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes. Tell everyone where they can find you online.
You can find me on Facebook at Heartful of Ink, on Instagram at Casey_Heartful of Ink, or on my website, heartfulofink.com.
Okay, so before we begin, I'd like to remind you that as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers here. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. Today, we are talking about Bride, written by Ali Hazelwood. The audiobook was narrated by Teresa Plum and Will Dameron. This book was published February 6, 2024 by Berkeley and Penguin Audio. It comes in at 416 pages in paperback, and the unabridged audio is 12 hours and 47 minutes. Casey, would you kindly read the synopsis?
A vampire bride and an alpha werewolf form a dangerous alliance in this enthralling new paranormal romance. Misery Lark, daughter of a powerful vampire councilman, is an outcast. Her days of living anonymously among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold an alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares. Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Morland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice or feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust her. If only he knew how right he was. Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of convenience, reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she is willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers.
As we do, high level, tell me what you thought when you finished Bride.
I liked it, but it also annoyed me at the same time. And then I realized that my brain is very, very broken because the whole nodding thing was so blasé that I was like, that's it? That's it? That's what everybody's freaking out about? Like,
girl, right?
I think I need therapy for this. Like, oh my God.
No. You don't need therapy. So let me so I thought, oh, that's cute. Mm-hmm. You know, that's my reaction to a lot of romances lately. Like, it's fine. I thought that Book Talk misrepresented what this book was. To be fair, I have not read Ali Hazelwood before.
Same. This was my first book by her, so totally new.
So I don't have any point of reference to say what I was expecting or not, but based on the TikTok, videos and shocking faces and red faces and all talking about this stuff, I was expecting a much spicier book.
Yes.
I definitely did not expect this to be a slow burn romance, which it was.
Yep.
While I do like slow burn romances, I just wasn't expecting it.
No. Same. I was not expecting slow burn. I was not, this sounds bad, but I was not expecting him to be so conscientious and consenting and just like, we're not gonna do it the first time or the second time. We're gonna keep dragging it out and it's not gonna happen until like the last fucking chapter. And I'm like, my brain is broken.
She basically begged his ass to do it.
And I'm like, this is what people are shocked about? I need to go check myself into the institution because my brain is fucked. Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. I feel like maybe that her readers aren't accustomed to a lot of spice, so this was the spiciest that it gets. I have that suspicion because I know
Probably.
she writes a lot of sciencey things like women in STEM. I know that, right?
Yeah.
Like geeky
Yeah.
type relationships, and that's fine. So I know that this book was out of her comfort zone to write.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely picked up a lot of the fantasy romance tropes.
Oh yeah, no, this is a woman who has definitely read a lot of fan fiction, who has read a lot of paranormal books. I can definitely see that she loves the genre, knows the tropes, knows everything, every beat to hit. Like, she's hitting it. I just expected more. And then I was questioning my own sanity. So that's where I'm at.
So I was not questioning my sanity, but I was questioning everyone else's because I'm like, why are y'all acting like this was the spiciest thing? And to be fair, when I saw it on TikTok and I'm like, oh, remember we talked about the Omegaverse? And I'm like, what did I find? What's going to happen? Oh my gosh. And so I would not even classify this as an Omegaverse
Oh
book.
God, no,
I think
not at all.
no, I think if you want to, it does have one teeny corner slice of that world, but nothing else. And I mean, very little. And it was done in a way I think that the real Omegaverse books wouldn't have done it.
Not even. Like, Omegaverse is all about being submissive and breedable. And yes, they have nodding, but so does so many other paranormal things. Like, it's nodding is not exclusive to Omegaverse. And so Omegaverse is also multiple partners all at once, all at the same time, people going into heat, lots of breeding. It's not at all like this.
So
Like,
I wonder
they're
why
two
people were
different
saying
circles.
was the nodding is what made them make the connection
I think
between?
so, but at the same time, again, like, no, nodding does not equal Omegaverse. Nodding is in Omegaverse, but it is not. This is not at all. This is, what's the word? Where they're exclusive. Monogamous. This is monogamous. Like, nobody else is touching her. She doesn't want anybody else to touch her. If, like, Alex and Mick and Barbie Ken doll and somebody else all, like, piled in the bed, like, that would be Omegaverse. And not at all what this book is. Even Juno should get in the bed in Omegaverse. Like, it'd be everybody. Or giant orgy style. That would be Omegaverse. This is not that.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay. Because I also have not read Omegaverse. So
yeah, no,
I just knew from the...
read it. I just spare you.
Thank you. I just knew from the little bit of Googling I had done that this is not that.
This is not that at all. And again, the people reading it saying, oh, this is so spicy. Oh, this is Omegaverse. Oh,
it's
this
not.
Is this is that. I don't think they've ever read a paranormal book in their life.
This is so not spicy.
Know anything about these different genres. And like,
so
no.
Look, so I want to talk about the scenes we get later. I'll make y'all wait for the juicy stuff. So we're going to get into those couple of scenes that we had between them, because I think there were maybe 3 total.
I think so. Yeah.
We're going to hold that for later on purpose. So you guys got to wait and be patient. But
slow burn. We're going to
slow burn, baby.
Episode.
We are going to regurgitate the slow burn on this episode from this book. No. But like, what other things or I guess tropes did you enjoy that you saw in this book, or ones that you saw and didn't think they fit or didn't like how they were done?
Oh, that's a good question. So I love forced proximity and marriage of convenience and forced marriage. And so, yeah, the whole wedding, even that opening paragraph of like, you know, it ended in a whimper of buttercream because our first wedding and I'd never seen him before walking down the aisle. Like, I love all of that. The protective alpha, the way he talks to everybody and he plays with kids and he's very kind. That's not a Omegaverse at all. Usually the alphas in a Omegaverse are like killing children and nobody can talk to them. Like, no, he's very much what I would consider a real alpha because he's, again, like cooking for people.
He's responsible for everyone.
Reading stories to his little sister. Like, he is the nice, kind alpha.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else. What about you? What tropes did you
So
like?
I do like forced proximity as
Mhm.
well, I'm discovering. I don't mind arranged marriage, but only in this case did I like it because Misery is such a strong character and she went into it not out of like she knew what she was doing, right?
Yeah.
She could have said, F you, dad, I'm out of here, but she knew what she was doing. She did it for a reason.
Mhm.
So I kind of like, okay, fine. She's not a passive
Yeah.
person. So, and she's actually really bold and smart mouth, which I love about her, by the way.
Mhm.
I love witty,
Yes.
sarcastic characters. And I think Hazelwood, did a good job with making her that way. I like that about her. So I think that made the arranged marriage thing, you know, like they're oil and vinegar
Yes.
almost, or oil and water.
Yes.
It's like
the
she's
bickering and the fighting.
yeah. And that was cute, although I wish it was a little bit more of that, but you know, it was fine. I also okay, so what I don't like. You know, I hate the fucking sexy virgin trope. I hate that shit so bad. And the only thing that tempered my hate was, again, the fact that she was not weak and sexy virgin or helpless and sexy virgin. Is that, okay, she's a sexy virgin, but she is a vampire who is like the top of the food chain. So it's like, that is what tempered my disdain for it, but I still don't like it. Like, dude, this woman is so old.
She's 25.
That's old. What 25-year-old who looks like she does? She's hot.
Yeah.
Dude, no.
She just hates humans and doesn't like werewolves, didn't like vampires. I mean, yeah, I wish she had messed around with a human at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Done something. Gotten drunk one night and like kissed a guy. Like something would have been nice. Yes.
Yeah, I can't stand that so bad. It's like my number one most hated trope.
Yes. Yes.
Like, you know, not everyone has to be out here whoring around and being hoes or anything, but can we not be virgins? We're full grown adults.
Can we do something?
I mean, we know that Lo was doing stuff with other people. We know that. He pretty much said, hey, I've been in communities where a lot of other, you know, things.
And I'm pretty sure Serena was sleeping with people too. She was at least dating.
Yeah. I'm like, girl. Psh. So that was the thing I hated the most. But I do like the slow burn romance. Because, you know, in the books that we read, we really gravitate back toward those are slow burn romances, generally speaking.
Yep.
I just wish there was a little more angst and pining. I think that would have made it more stronger to me. I think it was just like lacking in that way, if you know what I mean. Like Lo was so we knew as the reader, obviously he has it hard, you know, he has like all into her from day one, but he's acting like a little asshole about it. But she's so stupid and slow on it.
It took her like over 300 pages.
Yeah, she's so slow.
Piece it together, and I was like, "That could we do less of that?"
Yeah,
like I understand the original miscommunication, but she talked to Juno, she talked to other people. The way he was like, even when after she figured it out, she was like, oh, what I know about him, he would never touch me this way if he actually had a mate because he's too loyal. I was like, duh. You should have thought about that the first time he was bathing you. Like, if he actually had a mate, he wouldn't be trying to kiss you and do all these things with you. Like, you could have figured that out 100 pages ago.
Yeah, like when she was poisoned and she was down for the count, he wasn't going nowhere. Like he was like posted like next to her like glue. I'm like, if he had a mate, he wouldn't be doing that stuff, girl.
No, that annoyed me more than her virginhood, because like it's like, you're not this dumb. You might be a virgin, but you're not this dumb.
No, because she's so smart in a lot of ways, but this one particular thing, it's like, that's that virgin thing. Like, does that also mean you've never liked a guy? You've never had like, and that is what I. That's what I mean.
Never had You never watched your friend with her relationships. You've never... Yeah, that really annoyed me. I was like, okay, you could get over it and have something else keeping you apart. It doesn't have to be this.
Yes. So, just one more thing I don't like.
Yeah.
So, I don't like how I felt zero fear for anybody in this book. Like, the stakes were so low. Despite what we're being told on the page, I was like, nah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, I didn't feel the fear or that I should have felt for some of these characters. It just wasn't there. And I don't know if that's because of the writing style or because it was just not
so here's
present
something
in the
I
plot.
Noticed.
I don't know.
Kind of in correlation to that. So sometimes when something big is going down, Ali Hazelwood just kind of skips over this scene. And then the next chapter is Lark Misery kind of highlighting what happened. And she did that a couple times. So I think that really negates the fear. Like when Luke was kidnapping Anna and she's running outside and she's like, oh my God, stop, Anna, come here. And then all the wolves jump out. The scene ends. And then the next chapter picks up with them sitting on the couch. And she's recapping what just happened. And that really like negates the intensity of the moment.
She's not good at the action.
Yeah, she's not
it's
good
like
at
she
the
skipped the action. Yeah.
And even then at the end, when her dad's holding the knife to her throat and she's like, whatever, it's fine, I'm fine. And then the wolves shift and they're like killing everybody, then it ends. And she kind of cuts and recaps. So like, oh yes, it was a bloodbath.
Yeah.
And
that happened real fast. Like we didn't get to hear
fast. I'm like, that's why I don't feel the fear. Because I know I'm going to turn the page and she's going to be safe on a couch or safe sitting down or she's going to be safe and then recap it for me. And that loses all of that intensity. It loses any sort of real fear we might feel for these characters.
Like, give me the perspective of seeing your best friend and husband rip people's heads off. Like, you know, like
show me the fight scene. Show me what's going on. And I know this is her first paranormal. I doubt she had many fight scenes in her other books. I haven't read them. But like probably not. If they're scientists, I don't know if they're like duking it out at like wolves. But like, if you're gonna do this, give us something. Even when her dad was holding the knife to her throat, like I didn't feel fear for her.
Dude, we didn't even get the gratification of her offing her daddy at the end. I'm like, you gonna act like you don't even care that much to do anything about it? I'm like, that is whack as fuck. Like that guy deserved to die.
Yes. And we as the reader deserve to see it. You can walk out of the room, but we deserve to see what's going down.
No, you shouldn't have walked out of the room. I thought you were a strong character. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand. I didn't like that. And that is really what brought down the book for me because, so we got two things. It's not ultra strong in romance. Like the romance was weak in my opinion overall. Like I said, it was missing like the pining and the angst and the stuff that makes you really want to root for them. And then the action was weak. The violence was weak. Like you can't not have both. It's really bland when you don't have both of those things.
Yeah.
Like one or the other, okay, but
yes. I agree with all of that. But I want to touch on something else that really annoyed me, and I think this kind of ties into the romance. The chapter headings.
Ugh.
Every chapter heading was just like a quick summary of what he was feeling.
Yes.
And I hate that so much because it's summarizing what he's feeling. So we're getting like snippets of his head, but we're not really in his head.
Yeah.
And I hate that so much. Oh my God. Either just give us chapters from his point of view
or don't.
Or don't do this at all.
Let me tell you, when I first, because I listened to this one on audiobook, when I first heard, well, Dameron. I'm like, well, when I saw the names, I said, oh, this must be dual POV. No, but I heard his voice saying those beginnings of the chapter. And I'm like, and then the very first time I'm like, wait, that was it? I'm like, that's it? I'm like, no. Is this going to keep going like this? And it did. And I was like more annoyed by it, by anything, for more than anything. And I think the author was trying to make us have some kind of feelings for Lo. Like, kinda make us
seeing that he's falling for her.
Yeah. And it didn't hit the way I think she wanted it to. Not for me.
We can see that in the story without getting that. Like, there are single POV stories all the time where we don't get anything from the male perspective. And some of these were really annoying. Like, he loved her so much. He would do anything for her. Blah, 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 blah. Like,
yeah.
Give me a scene. Show me what he's doing.
Yeah. And the couple of scenes we had with them together, like, I don't know, like I think about the kitchen scene where she's trying to eat this peanut butter on the down low, and he's seeing her eat this peanut butter. He's like, why are you acting like you can't eat the peanut butter?
That was cute.
It was cute, but those kind of things, I felt like I needed more of that. More of that to show me him falling for her instead of these blurbs at the top. Like, yeah, he's done some really over the top acting things that obviously we know he likes her. Yeah. Obviously, honestly, and I think this author likes Twilight because she pulled the Twilight in here, where Lois acting like he doesn't
care.
Well, no. Her smell. Her smell.
Smell.
So, what's her damn name? Misery is acting like she is perceiving his reaction to her like he hates how she smells. And he is acting like his reaction seems like he hates it, but I'm like, oh, he loves it. That's what it is. It's Twilight.
It's Twilight. He's pinning her against the altar. How the fuck do you smell like this?
Yeah.
That's the man who's about to fuck you, not who's about to kill you.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, I felt like that was really Twilight-ish. So I think this author must like it.
The whole paranormal, yes, the smell, and it was so obvious from the beginning that she was his mate. Like, the smell, the conversations he's having at the wedding where she hears snippets of like, yes, I'm sure it is her, blah, 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 blah. Like, there was so much where it was just dragged out.
Yeah. And I think the author tried to make her being so dubious as a result of her not really growing up with vampires.
But these aren't vampires, they're werewolves.
I know, but that's where she would have learned some of this stuff about the vampires. I mean, werewolves, right?
Not
she would have learned some of that. No?
Vampires don't know shit about werewolves. And that was the whole thing, was that, like, I don't know anything about your people don't know anything about my people. Like, she just didn't know anything about anything. But still, supposedly she's this super smart IT person who can hide among humans and like do all these other things. And like, this was just dragged out too long. Use it in the beginning, end it, and then come up with a new reason for them not to be together. Or make them start fucking halfway through, so then we have 18 nodding scenes, and then I'll be like, oh yes, this is very spicy. Like, I understand why people are shocked. And his whole speech of like, this is my mate, she doesn't know, I just want her to be happy. Like, that was all really sweet and everything. But like, fucking come on, Misery. He says this, like he tells you exactly what he's thinking, and then 100 pages later, he's like, no, you're not my mate. And she's like, oh my God, my heart is broken because he doesn't love me. I'm like, he told you
the dumbest
he loves you. Like,
that was the dumbest.
He just wants you to be happy.
That was the dumbest fucking thing ever. And I feel like I would have preferred any other kind of breakup than that.
Like, not even they didn't even need to break up in that moment.
They could just have had an argument. No, they didn't have to break up. It could have
even been like, I need to go talk to your brother to watch this video. Stay here and take a shower. I'll call Mike to take you home. Like, don't even break up.
Right. That breakup was dumb. And let me just add this. Why did they have to break up right after they got intimate? What the fuck is that? Like, I
It
hate
happens
that.
in so many books, and I fucking hate it. Yes.
I don't like it. I agree with you when you said they could have just had an argument, split ways. You know, they didn't have to break up.
It made no sense. Even when, the next scene with her dad holding the knife to her throat, he's like, yeah, his mate, like, he won't do anything for his mate. She's like, no, I'm not his mate. Like, she could have just lied. She could have been like, yeah, no, he's definitely going to pick his sister over me because family is more important. Like, she could have lied to her dad.
Look, to me, it just adds insult to injury. Yes. This girl was a virgin.
Yes. And the first time she does it, he breaks up with her.
You break up with her.
Over something stupid, which she already, he already explained to her, like, I just want you to go find your freedom and be happy. Right. Even though he said my mate. And then, she didn't figure out that was her for another 100 pages.
Oh, dear. It's a mess.
It's a mess.
That relationship.
Cute, but it's a mess.
I feel like the author tried. She tried, but I feel like it wasn't quite. It could have been more, I don't know, eloquently done. I guess it was so hit us over the head with a mallet. And I would have preferred something more show, not tell, maybe. Like I said, I needed more scenes. I needed more.
We didn't need us or her telling us how he feels at the beginning of every chapter, because that's bullshit. That's telling. That's not showing us how much he actually cares. When he's, licking the peanut butter off her nose or cuddling with her. Like, there were cute moments.
We needed more of that.
We needed more of that. We didn't need these chapter headings.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, wait. This is a good time to take a quick break. We're going to take a break. You guys, check out these commercials by listening to those. You are supporting the podcast. When we come back, we'll finish our conversation and we'll give our rating. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out the book review journal available right now on Amazon. We'll be right back. That was a quick break, wasn't it?
That was a good take.
Okay. What else? What else should we?
Well, how did you feel about Anna?
She was cute. She was a cute little girl.
She was cute, but I kept agreeing with Misery of like, fuck this little kid.
I agree
so
too.
Annoying.
She was annoying. I'm like, why is she in my fucking face?
I wake up, feel feelings.
Look, she is the kid that wakes you up by opening your eyeball and looking you in your face. Like, girl, get out of here.
No, I will spit right back in your eyeball.
I mean, she's cute. I mean, I don't think we needed her, but I guess she kind of has a role to play, being that she's half were, half human, and, later finding out that Serena is the same thing. There's some connection there. But I think they could have did that another way without a child, per se.
Yeah, I wish there was less of her. Or, I wonder if Ali was trying to show... Lo be soft and gentle because he was so sweet to her, to Anna. But at the same time, I'm just like, do we really need this kid? We could be spending this time doing anything else.
I know. There was a lot of time spent on her.
Way too much time.
And when it came down to it, he just sent her away.
Yeah. And then at the end, she's just gone. And it's fine.
I don't know. She was fine, I thought it was cute how she connected with Serena's cat and just decided, this is my cat.
My cat.
It's my cat now. Yeah, I mean, she was cute. And I think she also kind of let us see how Misery, even though she's not accustomed to kids, she was trying to figure out how old she was. She's like, how old is this kid? I don't know.
3 and 13.
Yeah, she's somewhere in there. I don't know. I mean, it shows that, again, I like her character in that way. Like, she's not touchy-feely. Like, oh, let me take care of this child.
I loved how she was constantly like, fuck you, kid, for making me feel. You're annoying. You're a pest. Like, get away from me.
But then in the next second, she's like, oh my God, someone's trying to steal this kid. Let me go rescue the kid. And that's something, I swear that is something I would do. I'm like, okay, kid, get the hell out of my room. And I'm like, wait, someone's trying to kidnap that kid. Get the kid. Like,
save the kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I could relate to that, feeling like that, So I guess Anna had some purpose there in
I just wish there was a
softening
little bit
misery.
less of her.
I agree.
And
We didn't need as
more
much
violence or angst or anything.
I don't know, because there's nothing more that I hate than pregnancy, at the end, pregnancy or family with a kid or a baby.
Oh yeah, no,
I feel like this
stay
was
away from a megaverse. Stay away. It's all about making babies.
I hate that shit.
All
So
about making babies constantly.
that is my second hate behind Virgin. So, but I guess in this case, though, because they're different species, they may not get pregnant. They can have all the nodding sex they want.
Is that they're like, now we have the human wolf hybrid. What's going to happen with the vampire wolf hybrid?
I swear to God. Look, if the next book comes, because was open, I feel like there's room for another book.
Oh, she definitely set it up for a sequel.
Yeah, if the next book comes and Misery and Lo are pregnant, I will just be like, gag me with a pitchfork right now.
A pitchfork?
Yes, just kill me dead. I cannot. I don't want it. That is the death of a paranormal romance to me. Throw some kids in the mix. I swear to God, that's why Mercy better not ever have a fucking baby until it's the end of the story.
I think that's what Patricia has said. Is like she will end the series there, which I hope. Yeah, please, God, just end it.
There's nothing else to do now. If you really want to, you can have a kid, but I just don't even want that really. But I mean, I love a good, leading lady who's kicking ass and taking names and has a hot guy who's also got her back and kicking ass and taking names, and they have great sex and a great relationship and they're so cute. Can I just get that with no damn kids?
Right? That's what I want. That's all I want. That's the best.
That's all I want
right there. Thank you. Now go write it.
That's all I want, y'all. So I guess this was her kind of getting around that also with Anna. Like, we've got some of the kid flair without anyone actually having kids.
Thankfully. Yeah.
Yeah. Unless she does that to us in book 2, which I will be like, rawr.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think about the world building and the science-y parts of like the biology and stuff? Both of those things.
It was interesting. She didn't really give all of the details for the world building. Like there are little hints here and there of stuff. Like they're in North America. So I'm like, is America dead? And like Canada and America and Mexico are now all one spot. And then there was Euro Asia. She mentioned at one point. So I was like, I wanted a little more history about all of that. But she did better than we've read in the past, so I'm not gonna critique her too harshly for it. Although I guess I could. I don't know. I don't know. I was like, it's interesting, but I wanted more. Like you're just kind of hinting at it.
Yeah. So let me just give some feedback on your comments there. Like I agree with you. It was like world building light. So it was kind of there, but not really. And like even like the politics stuff building into like what the world is and why. Yeah.
Like I couldn't understand if they were in a specific state or just a general area, or because they kept talking about Southwest. So I was like, are they in Arizona? But no, there's trees and forests and lakes. So maybe they're like in central, like Ohio area or on the East Coast. I don't know. But yeah, and then the governor. Was it just the state? Was it the president of North America? What was going on? Like,
yeah, because the governor, if we use it by American terms right now, that's just of the state. But is that? I mean, it seemed like he was representing more than that, though. I don't know. I couldn't really tell. I couldn't tell. And I wish it was a little bit more fleshed out. But it was this book was over 400 pages, and yet it wasn't that fleshed out. It's kind of weird, like a weird balance of like, I don't know. I feel like I wanted a little more, but I guess if she writes a second book, she can delve into that a little more and give more of the details, because I do think it was kind of light on that. And even the biology, I feel like, okay, like we got some interesting things that were good, I guess, things that backed up her saying about them being different species, like
the different blood
Lo
color.
had green blood.
That's weird.
You know,
that feels very alien.
Yeah, it does feel alien. And like, I guess when he blushed, he kind of got like a sickly look about him because his blood is green
when he's blushing. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I'm like, you look like you want to vomit. Here's a trash can.
Are you embarrassed or sick? Like, what's going on?
Sick? Are you okay? But I think that was also a little light too. And even when, coming back to the whole nodding thing, he was, talking about, we don't work. We can't do this. And I'm like, well, it seemed like it worked out just fine.
Physiologically, yeah, you're all the same. He was just scared, I guess.
But he act like he had some like what do you call them? Like some things that point out and like are gonna stick in there and like
the barbs.
Yeah, that's what you would have thought he would have had the way he was talking. Like it's gonna be the interview if we do this. Like he was acting like he had something deadly. And that wasn't the case.
No. And again, this is why I'm like, I was expecting barbs. I was expecting so much worse. And when I got to it, I was like, this is it?
Yeah.
Is my brain that broken? That like, this is it? This isn't even mid. This is meh.
Yeah. The way he was building that up, we can't. I really thought it was going to be something terrifying, and it wasn't.
No, I thought it was going to like expand 2 feet and like blow out her hips and like kill her or something. Like the way he was talking about it, I was like, excuse me, have you ever had sex with a woman? Like,
girl. Because of like some of the more spicy things we've read, I'm like, this is so not right. Like, I think about the one series that we read about the guy who was like the devil or whatever. He was like, they were having sex in the cemetery. Remember that book we started?
Yeah.
Nobody should have been sleeping with his ass when they described his stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That was terrifying. This was
nobody should have been on that. Now, come on. You can make this a little bit more scary.
Seriously. Yeah. No, again. And this kind of goes back to the angst you were talking about. She was blowing this so out of proportion. And then when it happened, it was just perfect. And I was like,
yeah,
you could have started this earlier, or you could have made it worse. Or like,
yeah, because now they're like scheduling sex and shit. They're like, oh, this stuff is great. Let's keep doing it.
We're gonna do it 2 hours a day because it works perfectly, even though I was terrified it wouldn't.
Yeah,
like if there was a story, like a history of like, oh, here was a wolf who mated with a human and the human died because the barb or the knot or whatever, like. If there was stuff like that to back up his fears, maybe I could understand more. But no.
Yeah.
Like there's no history of any vampire sleeping with a werewolf, so he's just freaking out to freak out. I'm like,
yeah, sounds like
cute, but no,
not cute.
Go sit down.
I feel like, okay, I think that his concern for her not being comfortable with it is cute, but stop acting like you're going to kill her. You're not.
Yeah.
You
don't have a pointy barb.
No.
Go sit down.
Yeah.
The barb is much worse than the knot. And anybody listening, if you have never heard of a barb, please just go thank your lucky stars. It's exactly what it sounds like. Don't ever read anything.
Look, that tells you the fact that I thought of that. Okay. That would be worse.
If you don't know what a barb is, thank your lucky stars and go live your best life.
God. But yeah, so the whole trauma of the nodding wasn't a trauma at all.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. Which was good because I think this was good for people. This is a mainstream book, right? My goodness, Berkeley published it.
Yeah.
So it couldn't be that bad, but definitely overhyped by everyone who commented on it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, okay. Taking a step back. And ignoring everything we just talked about, the overall writing style was really good. Yes, there's a lot that we nitpicked. There's a lot that we didn't like. But some of the trash that we have read on TikTok with that writing being so atrocious, I want to say, like, this is a good book for what it is. Yes, we
It's
can rip it
candy.
apart, but like
It's
this is
good.
probably one of the better books that Book Talk has recommended. Is it
Yeah.
the best? No.
No.
But
you know what? It's a good starting point.
yes.
So to be fair, again, I did not read her other books. Neither one of us did.
No, I've never
But
read anything
I feel
by
like
her.
for this genre,
yes,
it's a good start. I feel
Yes.
like once she's dipped her toe in, she could, if she writes more for this, it feels like there should be more. I expect the second book to be better because,
I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah, because like you said, Casey, the writing wasn't bad.
Yeah,
She's not a bad writer.
It's a good book.
So,
she's not a bad writer.
Yeah.
There's a lot more nitpicking, but like when I finished the book, I wasn't like, ew, God, never again. I was like, no, this is good. There's just stuff I didn't like about it.
So I think for her audience, so people who love her books, who may not read a lot of paranormal romance, this might be okay for them. They might really enjoy it because it's light. You know, it's paranormal romance light.
Yes.
Right. So, but for us who read a lot of paranormal romance, there's room for us to be like, okay.
Yeah. We cut our teeth on this back in 2003.
Yeah.
This is so nothing that we're like,
this is a good starter
it's
book,
a good
I
starter,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, in that genre. It's a good starter for you to dip your toe in if you've never enjoyed it. But I think like people who listen to us regularly, y'all are paranormal readers. You gotta be. So from our paranormal loving selves, this is what our opinion is.
Yes.
But also, I did want to talk about some of the other little intimate scenes they had.
Yes. Now that we're at the end of the show.
So the plane.
Oh God.
Where he's like trying
Licking
to get
her.
like yes. He's like, this is gonna be a little weird, but I'm gonna get my scent on you. And he's like, I'm like, oh, that's different. He's like licking her face and like I'm like,
Can I just say the knob on her neck is the weirdest description I've ever read, and she kept saying it over and over and over again.
It's
the
so
knob,
weird.
the knob.
So
I'm like,
weird.
Is your bone sticking out?
Like, are you that thin?
Hunchback? Are you?
No, I think she's like super thin.
So he's just chewing on the bone?
That sounds weird. That's weird, dude.
God.
It's weird.
Yeah,
and I don't, okay, so tongues are great in some places, okay? Tongues are great. But don't be licking my face and like you're a damn dog. Don't do that. It's gross to me.
Maybe one lick on the neck, but the face, no.
He's like,
all over the place.
I just imagined a dog like just lick. I'm like, ew.
He
gross.
is a dog doing that.
I'm like, and she was like so turned on by it. I'm like, well, I guess that's good for you because that's what he's gonna do.
Yep.
I'm like, girl, what the fuck? He like nuzzling and licking and biting and like chewing and gnawing. I'm like, what the fuck?
That fucking knob.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So it wasn't even sexy to me. I'm just sitting there like, wow. Okay.
So speaking of the plane, it made me think of Charles from the Mercy series. And I was like, he's like a Charles light. Like he hasn't grown into Charles, but he's trying to be that badass who can fly everywhere. And then he did that. And I was like, Charles would never.
No.
Charles would never.
No,
Charles
he would
is
not.
so much better.
Yes, he is. Unfortunately, Lo, I mean, I feel like Lo is obviously he's a good guy. He's a fun enough character, but Lo is not hot to me. Not to me.
He was hot, but he didn't have enough depth.
Yeah.
I needed more. And again, these chapter summaries just weren't cutting it for me. I was like, I need more than this. More than a 2-line of like, oh, he cared for her so deeply. Oh, he thought about her all the time, even when he left. Like, just give me a whole ass scene.
Yeah. I basically felt like Lo is no one's book boyfriend, but that's why he's perfect for Misery, because she loves him because nobody else wants him. Because he's no one's a book different. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
he's fine.
Mhm.
He's a good guy. He's a good character, but he's not like,
Well, I'd pick him over that demon from the cemetery.
oh, shit, I sure as hell would. I sure as hell
if
would.
it's a choice between either, I'm picking Low.
But honestly, if Mercy Thompson turns her back, I'm gonna snatch Adam ass
Oh,
up.
hell yeah.
Taken. I do not
Adam.
feel like
Adam
this
is
about
top
Low.
of the
Yeah.
chain, of course. Like Adam, Charles, Bran, even Samuel. And,
Yeah.
you know, half the pack.
Yeah.
The whole pack, half the world of that world. And then there's Low.
Yeah, and then there's Low.
I
Like,
think
Low
Low
is
ranks
like,
above Ben, though.
yeah,
But,
I was gonna say, I'll take Ben over Low. Shit. I mean, my God. He's kind of down the totem pole. So, you know, he's not all of that when it comes to a sexy, masculine character. But, you know, he's
I like
fine.
that he asked for consent a lot. That was great.
Yeah.
But he way overblew the whole nodding thing. He was way overreacting to so much of this. I think if we had gotten half the book from his point of view, it would have made it a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
We would have liked him a lot more.
I think so. Maybe she should have played around with some dual POVs. That might have helped.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, writing some of the fight scenes from his point of view. Because if she's closing her eyes and not watching, like, he could describe the fight going on. He could describe the wolves jumping out and trying to save Anna and everything. Like, it was just...
So she is a vampire who is the top of the food chain, but she can't watch a measly little fight. Okay, girl.
Apparently not.
But, you know, also... Well, there's one thing I want to say before we switch. I do want to say something about her powers. But first, what did you think about that scene while they were trying to mess with the computer and then they start making out in the office? Was that sexy or not sexy?
A little bit of both. Like, there was a little bit of voyeuristic heat to it, but it was still kind of... Like, it was a trope. She was definitely playing into a trope. And I was like, that's cute. I don't know if I would say it was the hottest thing ever.
Yeah.
But it was... I
was
liked
cute.
that she went on this... Like, she forced her way onto this trip. She was the one who's like, I know what I'm doing. You can't even use Google properly. Like, I'm better at you than this. Use me. But I think... I really wish she had done more in the end. Like, she had all of these tools. She had all of these things. But in the end, she was just passive and didn't fight and didn't do anything. And, like, she wasn't the one on the camera figuring out that it was mixed. She wasn't the one putting the final pieces together. She was just a pawn, again, as everybody figured it out for her. Yeah.
She wasn't. Yeah, exactly. She could have done more.
She could have done more. She should have done more. She should have done something in the end to, like... Even when they were breaking out of the room, Serena was the one almost breaking the guard's arm. Yeah. Like, it wasn't her. It wasn't...
This is a perfect segue to me wanting to talk about Misery's powers or lack thereof. Yes. They're trying to break out of the room. She's trying to mesmerize the guy to do it.
And she can't do it.
The shit don't work. So even earlier when she's trying to do that to Luke, she had to really practice. Like, she's like, okay, just hold him there. Yes. You know, you got 15 minutes max before it wears off. I'm like, okay, girl, you are the worst vampire ever. Like, you didn't learn shit. Like, what?
And it's not even that she grew up with humans. Like, she had 7 years with other vampires. Yes, she was bullied, but she had to have teachers. Yeah. They should have, like, sent her study tools or something. Like, what did she do while she was with humans? Just sit around and twiddle her thumbs?
Watch TV and play Barbie? I don't know. It's so crazy because this is your father is the head of this council or whatever. How is he not having you trained? How is he not sending somebody to train your ass even with the humans? Or when you come back, why aren't you in intense training? It seems weird for her to be so inept as a vampire.
It was really weird. Yeah. I almost hate that more than being a virgin. Like, I can basically understand being a virgin because everybody sucks. Like, yeah. But, like, you should have had teachers. You should have had books. You should have had training. You should have done all of these things. Even if you ran away and hid. Like, no. Yeah. She should have been better.
Yeah. Like, even of the biting, she wasn't really sure, you know. So it's like, drink from me or whatever. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah, this is good. All right. But I don't know. She was just and again, she's not a weak character. So I'm like,
She's not
why
weak.
are these things not quite adding up for her? It's like,
I think my theory is that Ali Hazelwood didn't want her to be too perfect. She wanted to give her flaws, but I think she gave her the wrong flaws. I think she could have twisted this around a little bit better. She didn't want her to be the perfect heroine who always did the right thing and was always the one doing everything and was like always, succeeding.
Yeah. Well, she could be failing and just failing well. I mean, for example, she could, I don't know, mesmerize the wrong person and they stuck like that for 60 days. I don't know. She could do something.
Like that.
I mean, she could still show her skill and still have a learning curve with other things. Like the learning curve was dealing with werewolves.
Yes.
That was the learning curve. She'd never been around werewolves at all. So there could have been a lot of things she had to learn about them.
Exactly. And she was learning and she was struggling. And like there were things she couldn't do. And that was okay. That was good. But at the end, it seemed like she couldn't do anything. Like she couldn't talk to her mate. She believed him when he said he didn't love her. She couldn't break out of the room. She couldn't stop her dad. She couldn't fight in the big battle fight.
See me, I'm the kind. If I were a top dog type vampire with those kind of skills, the minute he's like, I don't love you, I turn the eyes on him. Oh yeah? Well, you tell me what you I'll turn the eyes on him.
You tell me what you really think.
He'd have been pissed and I had to apologize. But I'm like, you're not gonna lie. That's what we're not gonna do.
100 pages ago, you said you loved me and you would take anything.
Yeah.
Why are you breaking up now?
Okay, I think that I hit all my things. Did you have anything else that you wanted to?
I can't think of anything. There's probably some, after we finish recording, we stop and be like, oh yeah, there was something else, but I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, so I guess let's go ahead and rate it. What do you think?
I don't know how to rate it.
I do. I guess I'll start.
Yes,
how about that?
Start.
I'm going to rate it a 3-star because it was fast paced. I thought the characters were interesting but needed work. The romance was fun but needed work. I honestly think it's an overall good time, but not something that I would recommend for people who read a ton in this genre. So like I said earlier, if I had someone who was a heavy romance reader who would like to try on paranormal romance for size, this is who it's for.
Yes.
So it was fine. It was good. So that's why a 3. You ready to give your 2 cents?
I think I'm also going to go with 3 stars. Like I said earlier, out of everything Book Talk has recommended, out of all the stuff I see Book Talk recommending and all of the things like I refuse to ever pick up that Book Talk recommends, this is actually a decent book. This, I can trust Book Talk to be like, okay, yeah, it's not the worst ever. It's well written. It's a good starter book. But for the love of God, stop freaking out about this nodding thing because it's nothing.
Like just stop it.
I'm more surprised that she can eat peanut butter and not puke than I am about the nodding.
You know what? That whole thing was really weird. Like how she was so ashamed to eat the peanut butter because she was eating not for
pleasure.
Well, yeah, she was eating for pleasure and not just to feed, and that was supposedly highly frowned upon, which was a little weird to me. Like in the whole food shaming thing. I don't know about that. That was strange. I feel like she could have totally had a quirk about liking peanut butter without the food shame of it.
They could have even had like sexy food time where he tries to get her to eat other food, but she just kept complaining about food. Like, why are people giving me mushrooms? Why are people giving me pasta? Why do I have to like look at food? And I'm like, you could have had a whole like, I don't know. Anyway,
it's weird.
It was weird. But yeah,
she could have just ate the food.
Food thing. Weird. I'm gonna go with 3 stars too. Like, it's a good book. I might recommend it to people who haven't read paranormal yet. for my friends who have read paranormal, I'll recommend it with an asterisk of like, it's well written, but if you know paranormal, like it's not the best. You've read better.
Mhm.
You know there's better.
Right.
It's not terrible. Like I wouldn't tell people to avoid it.
No.
But
Just know from what kind of reader you are, what
Yeah.
you're getting into.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But again, I just want to reiterate that like it was a good recommendation from Book Talk, but not the best. Not
Exactly.
something I would really freak out the way they're freaking out about it.
But, again, those recommendations, I think most of the people who I saw fawning over it are Ali Hazelwood fans and romance readers, not necessarily
romance readers.
Yes, contemporary
who don't read
romance
paranormal.
readers. Yeah. I didn't see any of the people that I normally see who love paranormal toting it like, hey, this is so great. So
Yeah.
that's the caveat. Would you read more by Ali Hazelwood?
I think, yeah. Like she's set up for a next book, and I'm interested enough to read more. I'm curious about that couple if they ever come to like. I'm curious about them to keep reading, and I want to know more about the world building. I've had her on my radar because everybody talks about it. I'm not necessarily bumping it up, but if I happen to find it somewhere, I might read it. Some of her other books.
So I think I'll read more by her, but to be honest, I don't clamor for contemporary romance.
Yeah.
I'll read it, but I gotta have some non-realistic things with my romance. I gotta have some paranormal or something, because if it's too real, too much like real world, it's just bullshit to me. I mean, we already have a bunch of bullshit.
Her first book was fan fiction originally that she then changed to like not be fan fiction anymore. So
yeah, I don't know. So I think if she does a follow-up to Bride, I probably will read it.
Same.
Because, I mean, right now it's sitting on Goodreads. It's sitting at a 4.07 out of 5 with over 260,000 ratings. So,
yeah, like
and it just came out this year. The fangirls are fangirling over her stuff.
It's been less than 6 months. Like, it came out in February.
Yeah, I'll read this, but I won't go back and read her most popular, which was The Love Hypothesis. I won't be reading that. Just because I don't think
one. It was
okay.
Kylo Ren fanfic.
Okay, I don't even know
Star
who Kylo
Wars.
Ren is. Oh, okay. See,
the hero is supposed to be what's his name with the big nose and the black hair. He's in everything now. He's oh my god, what is his name?
I don't know.
I cannot remember the actor's name.
I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name right now.
The Star Wars guy.
Darth Vader.
Not Darth Vader. He's in the new series, the new trilogy.
I don't know.
Ben Solo's or his Han Solo's son, and oh my god, what is his name? I'm gonna remember like 10 minutes.
Wait, was
later.
that the guy who was in the HBO thing, Girls?
Yes,
him. Yeah,
yes.
I can't remember his name.
His name is
there. It is.
Adam Driver. God.
There we go. I'm like, okay, yeah.
He is the inspiration for the hero in that book because it was fan fiction originally. So,
see, that makes me want to read it even less now. That guy is so not sexy to me. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, so I'm sure, I will read more of this series if she does it, but I don't think I'm going to read the other stuff. It's just not my cup of tea.
That's fair.
All right, so I guess we're done with this, but you guys definitely, if you are not subscribed and you're listening to this as a one-off, you definitely want to subscribe, especially if you love Mercy Thompson. We are diving back into that really soon.
Yay!
So if you're into the Mercy Thompson series, that is our OG series.
It's our favorite series.
It's our favorite. And
we compare everything to that series.
That is the gold star.
Yes.
That is the gold to hold everything up against. I don't think I found anything yet that I love more.
I don't know.
Nope.
I gotta think about this.
It's the gold standard for us.
Are we only talking about series that we've read on the podcast? Because that's number one. But
well, I mean, in general, I can't think of another series. For example, I can think of some that I loved a lot, but not as much how I feel about Mercy Thompson series.
I think the Side Changeling series by Nalini Singh beats it for me.
Wow, and I haven't read that one.
Yeah, you haven't. It's way too long for you at this point. It's over 20 books. But yeah, I think Nalini, then Patricia Briggs.
Ooh.
But like they're both, well, one is paranormal romance, so every book has a different couple. But
I love the single couple. I like seeing them
grow,
brave it out and fight for it. I love that stuff. It's so cute to me. I don't know. I just love it. Okay. All right. I guess we're done. What do you think, Casey?
I guess we're done. Yeah.
Okay. This has been a fun conversation. Thank you for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate you for doing that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with other readers. And if you want to see more of us, find us on Patreon or join us on the Book Clubs app. And we'll talk to you later. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.